Welcome to the Old God's Meadery, where we make mead. Every single Wednesday, we come back here. We either make some mead or rack some mead. Eventually, we're going to be trying some mead. This is batch 6 of our live series. It's going to be super simple. Mead is the oldest alcoholic beverage in the world. So if you didn't know that, you can fact check me. It's true. It was independently discovered by lots of different cultures, which is what inspires me to make what I do. Tonight, we're going to make an apple cider mead. I've never done it before. No idea how it's going to turn out, but we're going to do it anyway. So, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. If I don't read them, because I probably can't from here, I will answer them eventually, maybe. Before we get started, everything you see has been sanitized, heavily sanitized. Anything that touches your meat has to be sanitized. Yeast is obviously a very active ingredient that will be making lots of alcohol. So, you don't want anything contaminated in it, including the spoon, bucket, pan, and lid, airlock. Everything that's going to touch the meat has been sanitized. The other pre-work I've done is I've measured out exactly 3 pounds of honey into our pot here. So we're ready to get started. I have 1 gallon of apple cider. This is pure apple cider. There's nothing in it but apples. So we're going to pour about half of it into our pan here with our honey. And I'll explain that as we get going there. The other half I'm going to pour right into the bucket. Easy so far, right? I think it'll be fun. We're going to add in 3 cinnamon sticks, too. Cinnamon sticks. Because that's what goes with apples. All right, let me plug this guy in. Turn on. Oh, she did it herself. All right, the reason why we poured half of it into our honey here is because I'm going to dilute the honey into it. We're warming it up for 2 basic reasons. The first one is it makes it a lot easier to dilute into the liquid, usually water, in this case cider, so the honey will mix in perfectly. And then once it's in there, it won't separate again, ish. The other major reason is warm water will give the yeast a good running start. It'll excite the yeast, and we should get alcohol to start probably tomorrow, within 24 hours or so. You have to be careful. You can't make it too hot. Yeast does have a heat tolerance. So everything you saw here is room temperature. The cider was left out for that purpose. I'm going to aim for like probably 90 to 100 degrees-ish. I'm not measuring it though. I'm just going to wait until the honey is completely dissolved. And then once it is, it should be warm enough. And then we're going to dump it into the bucket. It will only take another minute or so. This is definitely the most boring part of the process. We're almost there. Almost there. I have it on max, so it shouldn't take very long, right? So as you can see, well, you probably can't see. It's a darker color now. The honey is gone. It's in there. Yeah, we're in good shape. Real good shape. All right, I'm going to unplug this guy. All right, now that we know that the honey is completely dissolved into our apple cider, we're going to combine the 2. We're going to hide these guys to give you a little bit more room in there. And recenter. All right, so now we have a bucket of 1 gallon of apple cider. We have 3 cinnamon sticks, and we have 3 pounds of honey dissolved into that. Next, we're going to add our yeast. This is EC1118 yeast. This is a standard champagne yeast. What it does is produces what we call a dry mead. That's my subjective preference. I prefer dry wines. You can get different yeasts. There's a bunch of different kinds out there. They all produce a little bit different results. This one I'm predicting will produce somewhere between 13 and 15-ish alcohol content. I'm only going to put about 2 grams in there. This is a 5-gram little packet. Anything past that, and the yeast is going to hit its alcohol tolerance anyway before it uses itself. I'm also going to add in a half teaspoon of yeast nutrient. This will just give the yeast like vitamins. That's it. Now we're going to seal up our bucket. This is a fermenting lid. It has a little hole there for our airlock, which I'll show you momentarily. This is a 2-gallon fermenting bucket. I like to use those for the primary, so the first part of the process of making mead. There's plenty of room for anything to go up or down. If you add lots of additives, there's plenty of room for that. And they're also extraordinarily easy to clean afterwards. You can do it in a glass carboy, though. Lots of people do. We're going to seal her up now with a rubber mallet. All right, I'm going to put my thumb on the little hole there, and we're going to shake her up so everything gets nice and mixed. Of course, all right. Now we're going to put a little airlock on it. So this is a 3-piece airlock. These are my preference. There's a couple different versions of airlocks. This one fits right into that fermenting hole. This little metal piece goes on there covering up the straw inside, and then we'll fill it about halfway full of water. What this will do is allow the yeast to start producing 2 things. Carbon dioxide, which will leak out that straw, down that middle piece, and around the water, and out the bucket. But no air can get inside because of that water. It'll also start producing alcohol. It'll start eating those sugars and turn it into those 2 things. And that's it, guys. You just made your first batch of mead. Unless you've been here before, then you made your 6th batch of live mead with me. That was it. You see how easy that is? I'm going to shut this off for the people that are watching the recording. For all of you that are still here, I'm just going to swing around the other side and talk to you.